Hey guys, welcome back. Carter, BitsBeTrippin, BBT Ray here. We let this run for a little bit, and I think I found the culprit. Where my friend said it wasn't working. It actually was working. We switched out the risers. You guys saw that in the last video. However, when we let it run for a while, these things rifled all the way up to about 85C and then just started falling off. So one of a couple things could be going on with them. We did see the fans were running really slow. They're about done. It looked like they were set. He had them set to 100%, and it just, I mean, this thing's probably been running for at least a year at 100%. So that means they wore themselves out. So there's not a ton that we can fix without, short of getting new fans. But what we're going to try to do is they're still spending enough that I think that if we change out the actual like heatsink material, the thermal transfer material, you guys are going to see that coming up. However, the very first thing we're going to do is on this video, we're going to take you guys through switching the BIOS over. So we just talked about this in the last video. We've gotten Hive installed on this. Now, this isn't to be confused with a Hive OS video that we're actually coming out with a cradle to grave startup of Hive. We're going to do that on Ray's build. So Ray's going to build a 6600 XT build. He's going to build it for you guys on the channel. It's going to be a fresh, brand new build. And with that, we're going to use Hive OS. So it's going to be a complete start to finish build out of Hive. That's the configuration, the test wallets that we're going to use, making an account, putting the drive in, all the whole 9 yards. How to use shell in a box, if you want to remote into it, all that kind of stuff. How to update your shell password. It's going to be a full coverage. It's probably going to be about a 40-minute video, but it's going to be worth it if you want to use Hive OS. We're going to show you the ins and outs of everything on it. So this is going to be kind of a glimpse in Hive OS and one of the features within Hive that we're going to use, where we're going to take one of the BIOSes off one of the working cards here that was getting about 13.5 mega hash, and we're going to move it over to one of the other cards that was getting about 8 mega hash. So we're going to see if we can correct the behavior right there with that, and then we'll bring you guys into doing this video. So very first, we're going to make a pause for our sponsor coming up. So you guys hang out for that, give them a look, and then we'll come right back. Today's sponsor is ASIC Jungle, one of the largest providers of new and used ASICs. Their target audience is medium to larger mining farms, looking to add some extra units to their stack, but also has some interesting retail options for smaller buyers. ASIC Jungle also has a dedicated OTC desk that provides a concierge-like service for larger orders. This is to help manage expectations on larger order requests. While ASIC batch supplies are limited, and as ASIC Jungle continuously updates their inventory, they are ready to get on the phone with you and discuss your potential order. In the crypto world, this is rare, but a fabulous feature. If this sounds what you're currently looking for, drop by the site or give them a call. Tell them BitsBeTrippin sent you. All right, guys, we're back. Let's take a look at Hive. We got Hive booted up right now, got the machine running. It's been running for a second here. Let's switch over and look at this on the surface. So machine's running Raven, and you can already see those temps pretty high. They're sitting there at 81C, 79C, and 72. The outer card usually is the one that's usually the coolest because it doesn't have to consume heat from the other two cards. But that being said, we go on down here and take a look here. You can see we have 13 mega hash here, 14 mega hash here, and 8 mega hash on that outer card. That outer card also is running that BIOS that we're looking at. So one of the very first things that we're going to do before we go to try to fix the heat issue with these cards, and if we let this run for enough time, it'll actually spin all the way up to where they're all out over 85C, and then you'll see the cards actually start to drop off. So we want to actually go out and we want to make sure we're getting this particular GPU like these GPUs when it comes to at least the mega hash. And then we will address in another video, shameless plug for that next video, the teardown of this card. You already know what is going on right now with this card with the temperature. What's the temperature going to be after we switch the thermal paste on it to like the thermal knot? We'll test that, then we'll take a measurement from it, and then we'll come back and we'll test with like the VRM temperature, which is the voltage regulation modules, and the memory temps with some new thermal pads, and we'll see thermal knot plus the new pads. You know, can we drop the temps on this quite a bit? And these things don't need to be running almost 100% fans. That is going to be another video on the teardown of this. And we're going to do that teardown a couple times. We're going to be doing it on the 3090. We're going to do it on the 3080 that we have. So you guys are going to see that so many times, you're going to feel very comfortable with tearing down a GPU after it's all said and done. So, which is a key piece if you're trying to get the longevity out of your GPUs running 24/7 hashing cryptocurrency stuff. So let's go in and let's update these GPUs. So if we go in, and you find the GPU that you want to download the BIOS for. So like, let's say this one right here is 12.41. We're going to download that VBIOS. We're going to save that to storage, download. So right now it is actually copying the configuration of that GPU down, the BIOS ROM there. And then what we want to do here is I want to also download, we're going to select this BIOS here, and we're going to select this new one here because we don't care we don't want that slower BIOS, bottom line.
Right.
So now we've went out there and selected that, and you can see the difference. Look, it's 113 watts and this one's 130. So we're pushing now, it's saying preparing, and it's going to prepare and push that BIOS over to the other cards when I hit this flash button. Okay. I'm going to hit that. And now it says in progress. So our goal is to see that this one is going to move to close to 13 or 12 mega hash. So it says in progress, and you can see that right here, that it's sending that over. Man, what we would have done to have this capability back in the day. There was a kind of a version of this, but to have this for some of like the Vega cards and some of the other stuff that we've done would have been huge. Because I mean, this process in Windows is so bad that I decided not even show you how to do it in Windows. Because Hive OS is free for your first rig anyways. So it's one of those things that even if you weren't going to use Hive OS and you just wanted to do your BIOS, you could just download it. You don't even have to mine, and you could go out here and just do this. Like if you wanted to switch your BIOS around. So we're going to let that go and do its in progress. So it's going to take it a minute to do that. And once it goes and updates, come back in here to see if it's still running or doing that particular thing. It'll say that it's done. ROM just finished, it looks like. And then we'll have to give it a reboot to run that task here. So you can see that it did that a minute ago. ROM flashing, okay. And everything looks peachy keen here. So now what we're going to do is give it a reboot. So you can come up here on the power actions here. Oh, first off, let's go out here and do one more thing. One other thing I wanted to make sure before we reboot it is you can go out and you can actually go into a remote access. And one of the first things on the Hive, and we're going to cover this in more detail on the longer video, but we want, I didn't mean to click that one. We want to go into remote access, and we want to go into shell in a box. And then that's going to open up a new browser. You're going to hit advanced. And you're going to say proceed to this. Now, default, this comes out and you type user. And then it's password of 1. That's the very first thing. And that gets you remoted into this box through the command line interface. So the CLI of the USB drive there. Password spelled like that, user, and you're going to want to change this. So this is like a security thing. So Hive shipped this with just the password of 1, just to allow people to quickly, easily get into it. But one of the very first things you want to do is you want to change that to something that you'll know, okay? And that will allow you to make sure you have something more secure, and not allow somebody access that can get to this machine on the network, and they can shell into this. So if they got inside your network, they could go in there and start messing with your configs or repoint this miner to them, that kind of thing. So you want to update that. So that's all you do there. You just give it a new password, and then we can hit. We can just close this out. This is just shelled in here. If you just type miner, you would be able to see what we see normally on the screen here. And we can actually, just close this out. You wanted some telemetry in that, and we're going to give this a quick reboot. So anytime you're in your Hive, it gives you kind of what it's doing command-wise. It's giving us the detail there. And then we're going to let this reboot real quick. And our goal here is real quick just to see, did we make an effective change to that 8 mega hash? If it comes up and everything are running good, then we've accomplished the BIOS update in this machine. And this is also a way, like if you buy GPUs secondhand and they happen to be the same GPU, you can get some kind of level of consistency to know that they have the same BIOS on them. And that's the other thing with Hive also, is it's showing you, this right here, this Alpedia, this is the this is the type of memory in there. So there's like Samsung memory, there's Micron memory, Alpedia is one of them, and Hynix, starts with HY, Hynix, are the types of memory. And this is 4 gig GPUs. You can see that right there with the 4096. So this is giving you some understanding of what the card is. It's an ASUS brand card. It's the RX 570, which is the AMD piece. Then the Alpedia memory, and then this is the type of memory that's in the card itself. So you could actually copy and paste that into like a browser and try to get more detail of the memory types. So back in the day, that mattered a lot more than it does now, because you would want to find the most optimized memory straps for your GPU. You don't have to do any of that anymore these days. Like all of that's gone. If you're watching this video and you used to mine, like all these new miners now that you download or you use, like Red Team Miner, our Team Red Miner, T-Rex, all these different miners have all these built-in databases within the bin on showing you how to, or it automatically configures it to the most efficient. So let's see here. Let's refresh this. See if we can get a new update here. Because this isn't updating the screen. It's always slower on this. This is just capturing from the screen, grab, and it's always delayed. So what we see on this screen is faster than here.
Right.
If you want the most real-time updates, you can go into your shell in a box, user, and then we just change the password there. Now we're in miner, and now we're watching this, and we're at 13. Fixed it, bro. What?
Yeah.
It was the BIOS. So there you have it. That was a card that was at, now we're getting 39 on this machine versus 30, 34, whatever it was. So all the GPUs are now created equal, really close to equal, and they're going to automatically temperature throttle based on the issues that we're having. That's going to be in the other video. So hopefully that was a good and fun one for you guys real quick. If you're already using Hive OS and you didn't know that it did that, and you have access to Polaris cards and they're inconsistent, you can, as long as the memory and the memory type are the same, you can do that BIOS switch over to them. So there you have it. That was a real quick one for you guys. We'll let you guys get back to it, and make sure you're liking and subscribing and following and all that fun stuff. And you guys will see the teardown on one of these GPUs as we clean off it, and we'll see what the reciprocation of this is now that we know that these things set around 80 to 85 C. Can we get them down just by cleaning them and putting new thermal grease on them and thermal pads? All right, my dudes, we'll see you on the next one.